Nigel Mansell's Magyar miracle came after a weekend of practice which had promised so little. He started from a lowly 12th place, way behind the early leader, Riccardo Patrese in the Williams. The Italian had taken pole position for the first time in 6 years, but he was never very far ahead of world champion Ayrton Senna in the McLaren. Senna desperately needed a win here to bolster his hopes of a second title. His luck appeared to be in when Patrese spluttered to a halt at the end of the pit lane. Senna took the lead, but behind him Mansell had been busy. He overtook 4 cars on his first lap and took the others on a typical charge. Satoru Nakajima wasn't one of them. His Camel Lotus collided with Derek Warwick's Arrows. The gravel put paid to Japanese hopes. A back marker gave Mansell his chance. Stefan Johansson was travelling so slowly in his Onyx, he took Senna by surprise. Mansell had time to spot the danger, and he roared past both of them to take a lead he was never to lose. He opened up a 25-second gap on the Brazilian to send the travelling Tifosi into ecstasy. Thierry Boutsen gained some consolation for the Williams team with 3rd place. All the British drivers finished a race which saw half the field drop out. Martin Brundle finished 12th despite this spin in the Brabham. Warwick was 10th and Jonathan Palmer's Tyrrell 13th. Alain Prost retains his lead in the championship despite only finishing 4th here, but for one day at least, all eyes were on the man from the Midlands.
Ayrton had a little bit of a problem with Johansson and was a little unlucky, and I was just fortunate to be in the right place at the right time and slingshot out the corner and have enough speed to go past both of them.
It was a fantastic effort. How was the car?
The car was very, very good. Like Ayrton, I had a lot of tyre vibration at the end of the race through pickup. But I've got no complaints. I think in the early start of the race, because I was being held up quite badly behind a 5-car battle, this was probably very good for the race because it conserved my tyres on full tanks. I wasn't able to push hard, and I just sat back and relaxed.
How does this feature amongst the races that you've won?
I figure that this is the best yet.
An outstanding win for Nigel Mansell, his 2nd of the season, and one that vindicates his decision to stay with Ferrari next year. As for the next race, well, Mansell's win will do wonders for cross-channel ferry bookings as the British supporters make tracks for the Belgian Grand Prix. This is Matthew Lorenzo for Sky News.
Well, I knew Rachel Atwell when we both wore ankle-length embroidered dresses. I knew Rachel Atwell when she was a mere secretary. I knew Rachel Atwell when she couldn't count in 60s but could only count in 10s. I knew Rachel Atwell, it says here, when she was a researcher on Nation to Nation, the most god-awful programme Radio 4's ever put out, let alone Profile. I knew Rachel Atwell before she was great, and I'm proud to know her. I'm not quite sure that Channel 4 are ready for her, but they deserve everything they get, feet and all.
I'm here at Safeway's supermarket on Shepherd's Bush Green, and not many people know that this supermarket plays a key role in the Rachel Atwell story. The reason? Well, I'm afraid Rachel Atwell is an addict. She's an addict for Diet Coke. She spends millions on the stuff every day. With me to explain that story is Mr. Ahmed, assistant manager of the Safeway store here in Shepherd's Bush Green. Mr. Ahmed, without Rachel Atwell, how would Safeway survive?
Well, I very much doubt our store could survive without Miss Atwell's custom. And I'm glad to see you're getting her daily requirements.
But on a more sombre note, Rachel became a television producer of some standing. No greater standing than the Breakfast Time special on the anniversary of D-Day. June the 6th, an easy date to remember.
Well, today on Breakfast Time, we'll be marking the events of June the 6th, 1944. We'll be meeting some of those who landed on the beach here and some of the people of the occupied France who welcomed the liberating forces here. We'll be recalling how the news reached the home front and how the home front entertained the people here. With us, perhaps the most famous of all those who helped keep the soldier spirits up will be Dame Vera Lynn. We'll be meeting her later on. And of course, it must not be forgotten that the weather was perhaps the most crucial factor of all, as Francis will now explain.
Rachel, the sun is up, the sky is blue. You're off to Channel 4 with you, and it's raining, raining in our hearts. Out of the frying pan into the fire, eh, Rachel? Breakfast time to breakfast time. You'll soon get to meet your new boss, David Lloyd. Bye. And one for Dave would be the same.
What about this poor chap here? Bye. We very much like to say, this is Cuddly Dudley, who's obviously not doing a lot of work. No. Of course, there's Angus here as well, because he'd very much, what do we know? He'd like to say goodbye to.
Goodbye, Rachel.
Just go to show what we really do on OBs. Should we all go to the pub now, or is it a little early?
Yeah.
Oh, talk to 4.
Yes, you've got the right camera there, Sally. Carry on.
There you are.
Go on, Sally. Yep, go on.
Sally.
Take to camera 1, Sally.
That one,
Yeah.
right.
Okay.
That one,
And we are recording.
right. Right, sports news now, and I think the entire sports department has actually, oh. Ow! And I think the entire sports department has put in for jobs on
Yeah,
Channel
bye-bye.
4, so Rachel, I do hope you'll look upon these with enormous sort of help and optimism, and of course, Jeremy is fascinated by the sports news as always. You're sitting here totally riveted to what I'm saying, aren't you?
At least it's a lot better written than most of your scripts.
This morning, Jeremy, I actually got a T.S. Eliot quote, which you didn't get. So I think you should come through and...
Stop all this waffling. Get on with saying something nice about Rachel.
Something nice about Rachel. Well, Rachel, as I hope the next employer of the entire sports department, has been a total inspiration to us all, and I hope she enjoys the new job, and I hope that we're all there with her very soon indeed, and rather later in the day so that I can get brain and mouth in gear for once. Rachel, good luck.
But productions like that take planning. Coming up, a rare glimpse of a breakfast time planning meeting.
What have you got then, Helen?
Well, there was something I rather took my fancy, actually. I know we don't like having animals in the studio, but there's an arthritic dog appeal. We've been offered up 15 arthritic dogs live in the studio.
Yeah.
Some in wheelchairs and on crutches. I thought might be quite visual.
The only trouble is we're trying for an angle on that combined Stoat and Sheep Federation thing. I think that would be for Tuesday. You know, there's a big controversy over the neutering of sheep and how that affects their relations with stoats and with other.
But we could run one early and one late, couldn't we?
Yeah, I suppose so.
How does that affect the Dead Seals OB on Wednesday?
Could be a bit of a problem. Yeah, we're having a problem with that anyway.
And then there's the flea competition, isn't there? Was it a farm?
A flea farm on the Isle of Skye, on the Isle of Wight. I'm not too sure where it is, but apparently the man who owns the farm is willing to bring in a couple of hundred fleas into the studio, and he's willing to be interviewed, and it sounds very interesting. But when he rang in, he was not prepared to go to sleep unless we set up an item on religious persecution of Kurds in Inner Mongolia, he said.
Right.
He wouldn't come in tonight if there wasn't one. What do you think?
Well, we've had enough animal items, haven't we? So, I don't know, I'm not sure really about that. What about musical items? Got any ideas on them?
Oh, there's a comeback.
Who's that?
I don't know, who's coming back tonight? Was it Dusty Springfield? Dusty Springfield or Beethoven. Yeah.
Anyway, that was pretty useless. Sort of typical go round. Jeff, sport, you got any ideas? Right, okay.
Where is Jeff anyway?
It is June 2, 1988. For Rachel Atwell, another milestone. Her production of the Breakfast Time special from Moscow. Unfortunately for Rachel, Elliot Ness lookalike Dave Stamford is in the gallery, and he thinks he's in Washington.
Are these the right titles?
No, hang on. I mean,
Are those the right titles?
That's
Jesus,
not-
who loaded these titles? VT! Jesus Christ. Oh, look, I know, it's the wrong... Doesn't matter. Look, Jeremy, we're on the wrong title. It's got to come to you early, okay? Coming out to do it, Jeremy. Cue Jeremy.
Good morning from Washington. Sorry about that cock-up. Good morning from Washington, though, with the news that George Herbert Walker Bush has become the 41st president of the United States. Michael McCarthy proceeded defeat in an emotional
Boston's on invite. Give us a vote.
signals the Democrats'
Boston's ready.
fifth election reverse.
What's up with the background? Can we go to the arm? We control this. Look,
Stand
by,
Regent. Stand by, Regent.
Stand by with that Boston tape.
So there are
Is
three
it the Boston
blissful
tape?
hours to
Is it the
go.
Boston tape or not?
And this being a day
Jeremy, Phil, Jeremy, Phil. Just keep going.
Jesus Christ. And we have also...
should you have back to Sally?
So I'm talking away to you just for a moment. Let me tell you a few things.
What was it on basis? No, forget the basis. He's looking sad living now. Should we go to the Boston piece? I think the Boston piece is ready, Jeremy. Oh, Aston's craft.
Yes, we have the BT ready for you. Coming up just now.
We'll go somewhere, Oh, no, it's not there. Sorry, Jeremy. Oh, Jesus Christ. Let's go home.
Well, of course, it wouldn't have happened if we had sent a PA.
Bum, 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 bum. Well, I'm delighted that Rachel's coming to Channel 4. Mind you, I have to own up, we did have one or two doubts about it. Not, of course, about her abilities, I mean, they're legendary, but more about her, frankly, about her stamina. I mean, I can well recall that in the bad old days of Breakfast Time, remember those days when there was absolutely no rota, but on the other hand, there was an audience? In those bad old days, I can remember occasions when she would be the day editor and she'd take the programme through the whole of the day. And then, I don't know, somebody like Colin Stambridge would cock up the rota and she had to do the night editing as well. And then at 9:45 the next morning, she was in Albertines. And then she would spend the whole day in Albertines and, you know, certainly put back a certain amount of alcohol, a certain amount. And then, of course, Stambridge would have cocked up the rota again, so she'd have to do the night editing again. I did notice that when she went back to Albertines on the second morning, that she would wilt a bit.
There we go. What do you mean only one bottle? Where's Rachel? I'll put these away, I suppose. Actually, Rachel, I think you probably drank around 350 of these bottles since Breakfast Time started. And I hope you make as much money for your local wine bar as you did for me.
Well, Rachel, cheers from one former BBC secretary to another. I just hope my career can be as successful as yours. Just another 149 to go.
This is take two. The thing is, I had this idea for an early morning strand on cats, and I know Rachel doesn't particularly like cats, but millions of viewers, or Channel 4's case, thousands of viewers like cats, and I thought it would work really well, and I was very pleased when Rachel said, yeah, it's a good idea, let's go for it. And I resigned from the BBC and set up the independent production company. And all was going well. And then the RSPCA knocked the idea on the head, something about cats not being allowed on television before 9 in the morning, GLC rules or something like that. So now I'm out of a job and it's all Rachel's fault and the cats. Anyway, good luck, Rachel. Is it that bad?
It's fucking complicated. It was very good.
I'll do it again, quite happily.
How can you improve upon that?
That's finished me, isn't it?
Rachel, don't you ever complain about the lack of crews? What on earth do you think this lot are doing? Wow, that was pretty major, wasn't it?
I've seen a lot of deputy editors come and go in my time. Ted Gorton came and went to a region. Stephen Claypole came and went to a company somewhere. Mike Robinson came and went... Where did he go? And Rachel, you're off to Charlotte Street, which is the best street for a cheap, late-night Greek meal. Have fun, enjoy yourself, we'll miss you. Bye.
Rach, we all knew that you were the best deputy editor the Breakfast Time ever had. Your editorial judgment, your personal management never let you down. But now you've fucked up. You let Matthew Lorenzo do your leaving video. Have fun at Channel 4. Bye. And the shoes are nothing to do with me.
Well, best of luck, Rachel. Good luck at Channel 4. I hope they appreciate you. And all I have to say is, if I promise to keep you in constant supply of Diet Cokes, can I come with you?
Take one.
Rachel, I haven't got any ideas for the American presidential election.
You should organise, Dave.
Rachel, I don't know what I'm going to do on the 6 o'clock news.
You should organise, Dave.
Rachel, I've got to do races on the 6 o'clock news.
Resign, Dave.
Rachel, you're going to be an editor of the breakfast programme on Channel 4.
I've had 3 years' experience of doing that, Dave.
Rachel, we love you. Keep in touch. See you soon. Have a large volume of vodka for me. Bye-bye.
Look, we were just walking past. We've nothing to say, no?
Who's leaving?
What?
Who's leaving?
We're walking
Ron
along the
Neal? Ron
street,
Neal?
and this guy just grabbed us and brought us in.
Oh, well, whoever's leaving,
Yeah.
good luck.
We left to get away from this, didn't we?
Some of you may know who I am, but none of you will know the effect that Rachel Atwell had upon my life. Before I met Rachel, I was a quiet, assuming young Scottish girl. I'd never seen a drink in my life. I'd never smoked cigarettes, and I'd never looked at boys. I wouldn't say boot a goose, in fact. Then I came to London, I met Rachel, and she taught me how to stand up for myself. She taught me how to make taxi drivers cry, tell editors of Breakfast Time they were public school wankers when they weren't, throw my shoes off, dance on tables, stay up all night, drink all day, get paralytic drunk. But the one thing that Rachel really taught me more than anyone else was how to get home after a day on the piss in Albertines. And we'll need it for later on today, folks. The sticky bits. My name is Susan. Take me back there when I get drunk this afternoon. Bye, Rach.
Every day of the week, someone leaves Breakfast Time. But this week, someone a little bit more special is leaving Breakfast Time, and that's Rachel Atwell. Jeremy, do you know Rachel?
Who?
Rachel Atwell. You know, she does rotas.
Sorry, you've got the better of me. Is she new?
No, she's tall and very cheery. Do you know her? You swear at her a lot.
Oh, that Rachel, yes.
Yes, well,
yes, I do.
she's going on to Pastures New and not a bit before time. No, she's going on to Channel 4 News, and it's the best place for her, in fact, because her talents are completely wasted here. She's the only person in this department that knows that it's not brain surgery when you're doing Breakfast Time, and therefore she always greets you with a cheery smile when you come off there, no matter how awful the programme's been that morning.
Yeah, we're just here to say thank you to someone who's leaving the programme, so thank you for leaving the programme, Rachel.
Hey, what's that, your cucumber?
There's £50, Jonathan. Keep the change, don't worry. It all goes on expenses.
Thank you very much, sir.
Much obliged. Rachel, we haven't been working together long. I hope you'll be happy at Channel 4. And remember, pickled cucumbers are good for you.
Say what you like, give it 5 seconds and go.
Right, okay, in the case, first option, 3, 2, 1. Goodbye, Rachel.
Bye, Rachel.
3, 2, 1. Fuck off, Rachel.
That was very good.
To Channel 4.
To Channel 4.
Dear Rachel, as is usually the case on these occasions, I was told about this precisely 35 seconds ago. Needless to say, I don't have any funny stories in my head about you. Not because you're dull and boring, far from it. I've had some of the greatest fun and the greatest enjoyment of my professional life in your company. We shall miss you terribly. How the BBC will cope without you, I can't possibly imagine. What say you, kid?
I say exactly the same. Nobody does a rota, Rachel, quite like you. I'll miss you. Bye.
Rachel's always smiling, isn't she? Every time you go into that bloody office or into the room, she's smiling. I mean, no matter what the story, no matter what the day. Last year, for example, in Enniskillen, when we went over to do that bomb attack by the IRA.
I'm sorry, Rachel, but under the new government restrictions, we're not allowed to say exactly what this gentleman, who is from Northern Ireland, is saying. However, I can give you a rough idea of the import of the content of his speech. He's saying, for example, that the guy that directed this farewell video is a complete wanker, and that Rachel was a little off her head to employ him in the first place. The fact is, she didn't employ him, he's employed by sport, so it's tough titties, Rachel, and good riddance.
I was trying to remember what I'd miss Rachel for, really. I was, you know, there's the Reebok joke, the Diet Coke and everything. But the thing I'll really miss you for is who am I going to go piss with on a Friday afternoon? Bye, darling. It was great.